Hi, everyone, and welcome to Dana's Kitchen. I am Dana, and Robbie is right there behind the computer. And he is, of course, my part time tech guy who works for food. And we have no puppies with us today. So we are in Maine, and thank you. Thank you all for coming. It's good to see you guys all there. Um, we're in Maine. Yep, that's what I was saying. So tonight, I'm going to attempt to make lobster rolls. It doesn't look very complicated. I think getting the lobster out of the lobster is going to be the most complicated thing. And we're going to make blueberry cobbler. I'm going to tell you, Robbie and I are still trying to catch up on our sleep from driving 2 days ago. Because we got up, we were in the Outer Banks, and we got up at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we did not make it here to this nice rustic cabin that we are in. Actually, it's a boathouse until 11 p.m. at night. So it was a really, really long day to be in the car, sitting in New York City traffic. And what other traffic did we have?
Like the next two states.
So then traffic in Connecticut and Massachusetts. So I think New Hampshire was good. But, that was a lot of states to get through from starting in North Carolina and hitting Maryland and Virginia and Delaware and New York and New Jersey and Massachusetts and Connecticut, New Hampshire, Maine. That's a lot of states. I'm surprised I got that. Yeah. So you'll have to. We're kind of we're better than just having a phone sitting on a bunch of sugar and jam in a restaurant with a cell phone and a cell signal here. But I don't have my nice monitor, so I've got you down here. So if I look down here, I'm not ignoring you. I promise. I'm not ignoring you. I am. I'm reading what you're saying. So how are you guys doing tonight? How are you doing? We want to take you on a little bit of a tour just for a minute of where we're staying here. It says Boathouse it's outside of Portland, Maine, about 25 miles ish outside of Portland. Yeah, ish, around that. And it's a converted boathouse, but it does have a really nice oven and stove thing going here, which was nice. And we were going to try and grill, but it has been raining pretty much all day. So you get my woohoo vacation rain hair as well. So you're a little tired, but good. Yes, Volanage is doing good. That's good. All right. You guys want to see what the outside looks like? What outside our back door? I posted some pictures in the Discord, but this is what Robbie's going to take you out there. We've got a nice dock. And he's taking you because I'm in socks. But yeah, so we sat out here the other night. Last night? Yeah, last night with wine. There's a diving board off to the right. And what's great, this lake is really, really pretty. The water is super clear. You can see down to the bottom of the lake. So it's a really pretty lake. And the owners of this place live on the property, and I saw today they have a Irish wolfhound. Those things are big, 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 big. So this is pretty much what our days kind of look like, this kind of gray, overcast, raining off and on. And we went to a farm, which was fun. Oh, and my chat turned off. Hang on. I forgot to tell this to stay on, so let me fix that. So, oh, hey, thanks, Aladdin's girl. Thanks for subscribing with Prime. Awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, it is really pretty. Yes, yeah, Irish Wolfhounds are big dogs. Okay, hang on one second. I got to go set this so it doesn't turn off. I haven't used this way to look at chat for a while, so I forgot that. Where'd I put that? Is that in general? No. Display and brightness. Yes. We're going to go to never close this ever. And thank you for putting up with me not knowing what I'm doing. So yay. Yay. Okay, there we go. I'm back. Okay, so the first thing Robbie and I are going to tell you about, we did some really kind of fun things. The drive, like I said, was really, really long. And learned some new stuff on the farm. So, for example, did you know that a heifer is a cow that has not given birth yet, and after the cow gives birth, they're no longer a heifer; they are just a cow. You don't get a special name. I did not know that until today. How did I not know that? I guess I didn't grow up on a farm. All right, so what we're going to do first here is we're going to start by making the blueberry cobbler, because that's got to be in the oven for about 45 minutes. And of course, wild blueberries used to be a mainstay of Maine, no pun intended there, but it used to be one of their big things, and they would harvest them every other year. Nowadays, they're not as big a deal. They're getting over foraged, and blueberries are much more widely available than they used to be back in the day. Blueberry cake is really what they make a lot of here, but I'm really kind of limited in what I have in the kitchen here. And I didn't want to go buy a bunch of extra ingredients to make the cake, but we'll make it on the stream at some point. But tonight we're going to make some blueberry cobbler. It's kind of an ode to Maine and blueberries. Plus, anytime we have cobbler and ice cream, Robbie's in. He loves cobbler, and he loves ice cream. So, over here, I don't know if can they see everything over here? I have to count on him to tell me what's going on. So I turned the oven on to 350. There's that. Oh, and if you missed the last stream, that's when we wore our cow costumes. So some of you were there. I know. I need about 6 tablespoons of this. There are 8 tablespoons in a stick. So I'm going to take half and then half again. Uh-oh.
That's right. I said I wasn't going to move that.
And then you did. You moved it. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so I love cobbler. I love cobbler of any kind. You can give me any kind of cobbler. What's a nice choice?
I don't know.
Who said that? Was that my computer? Okay. I'm going to take some butter. It's 6 tablespoons of butter, and I'm chopping it up and putting it in the bottom of this tin pan that I purchased at the store so I could make the cobbler. And we're going to stick that in the oven and let it melt while we make the rest of the parts of the cobbler. Now, normally, like the blueberries, we're going to put in sugar to let them macerate a little bit. I would do that and let that sit for probably a couple of hours. But we're not going to do that this time. All right, so there we go. 6 tablespoons of butter chopped up. I'm going to stick that in there. It'll get really melty. And also, this is a gas oven, which I have not cooked in a very long time. Probably 28 years. I think because Kelsey was a baby last time I had one. Here are my blueberries. Got about 4 cups of blueberries. And now I need my sugar.
It's almost like you're in a stranger's kitchen.
What? I know. And then I want some lemon zest, which is going to be tough because I don't have a zester. But we're going to see if we have something we can use. Maybe a knife.
A nail file.
A nail. I have a nail file. That's not really working there. Let's try something else.
Was that about as good as using a spoon?
It was. So we're gonna make do here. So, what's up? What's going on with you guys? What's your favorite kind of cobbler, or do you even like cobbler? And do you like it with ice cream? Some people I know like it with whipped cream.
I definitely like it with ice cream.
Yeah. Are you just like tried and true vanilla on your cobbler, or do you like different flavors?
Usually, I guess it depends on what the cobbler is.
Yeah.
But yeah, vanilla's always good.
I hope so, because that's what we have.
That's good.
So, not the best way to zest a lemon, but...
Is cobbler just like a pie? I'm walking bare asses.
So, it's different because a pie has the crust on the bottom, And cobbler but it's a kind of like pie in that there's all different, we have cobbler, we have crumble, we have buckle, and all of those things are very similar in how they are flavored, but the pie has got the crust that you roll out and you put in the bottom. Sometimes you put it on the top, but with cobbler, you just kind of pour your batter in there.
Hi, Elser.
Hey, Elser. My chat's not working. I'm not seeing anything. Oh, there we go. There we go. I see that. What? A cabin is just a boathouse on land. Yeah. It's pretty, like I said, it's pretty rustic. It's got this, it's got a spiral staircase. Maybe Robbie will show that to you in a little bit too. Or you can do it now. I'm just sitting here pretending that I'm zesting a lemon. And the zest of like oranges and lemons and limes, that has more flavor in it. And it's got the oils, like the essential oils and stuff of the lemon or orange or lime or whatever. So that is very harrowing to come down when it's really dark, or to bring groceries down.
It's been a challenge.
We're like, Robbie's like, there should be a railing, but I don't think either of us would fit down it if there was a railing. Hey, so I'm going to put about a half a cup of sugar in here, if I can open it. Not like being in my kitchen. Robbie had his first lobster roll yesterday.
I did. It was very good. A lot of money to spend at a food truck, though.
That is true. Because lobster rolls, even on food trucks here, are at least 20, and I think mine was 24, and you had a bigger one, so yours was like 36?
30-ish.
30-something. The clam chowder was excellent. So there we go. There's our half a cup of sugar. Now shake those up. And now I've got to find something else to put those in because I've got to make the batter. And I need this bowl. So there we go. Now we're going to make the batter for our cobbler. And so like if you do a crumble, right, you crumble stuff on top. It's like not batter. This will be a little bit more batter-like, so it'll kind of go down around the fruit and kind of cook around some of the fruit, but there'll still be like a really good fruit bottom to it, I think. You got Wendy's for delivery, so not lobster.
I think if we ordered anything, it'd be at least an hour and a half.
I mean, we are out here.
That's if they ever found the place.
Yeah, because it was hard to find in the middle of the night. I'm going to have to sweep this kitchen because I'm making a mess already. Shocking. Let's not do that because I had sugar on it.
You're just making yourself home.
I am. Oh, look, there is a chowder spoon in here. I do, but I have dogs at home that get most of the stuff that falls on the floor, so I don't have to. That's the beauty of having dogs. So I'm going to put a cup of flour in here.
That's right, Aladdin's girl can't have lobster.
Right, I figured because it seemed like shellfish.
First It's a good call.
So I kind of cheated. I have cooked lobster tails before, but not a full live lobster. If you were on the Discord, you saw that I'm going to do this over here. We can lose a little flour. we picked out a lobster. Actually, I let the butcher pick out a lobster because I'm like, I don't know. Which one looks good? I don't know. He said, this one's lively. Let's get him. Okay. All right, and a cup of sugar. And that just had flour on it, so we'll do this one. And then we've got to put some, we do want this to kind of bulk out a little bit, so we do want some baking powder. Look at this cute little thing of baking powder I found. I'm used to buying the great big things of baking soda, baking powder, even though I don't bake that much. Oh, you guys didn't tell me what's your favorite kind of cobbler, or do you not even like it? I need 2 teaspoons.
Is cobbler, did you already answer that? Is cobbler just like a pie?
It is very, very similar, except not. It's different, but it's in that same wheelhouse.
I think I like cobbler for the ice cream.
I think that's true. Do you like cobbler or pie or crumble better?
Depends on the pie, but probably pie.
Salt. I had salt somewhere. Not ideal. I can't really measure it. So we're going to... It's about that much salt. It's supposed to be a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar, and then salt. Salt. And then we need some milk. I have half and half, so that's what we are using. And we need about 3/4 of a cup of that. So I am going to use... It's so hard when you don't know where anything is. That's 1/3 of a cup. That's 1/2 of a cup. Do I not have a 1/4 cup? I do not. So we will... So we're going to do our best here. Ooh, you stick to land animals, yeah.
We saw a few of those today.
We did. We went to a place here. What was it called? Pine Hills Farm.
One's close enough to being right. I think that's right.
It was actually really nice. We'll post pictures of the corn maze. So I'm just going to stir this by hand because they don't have a mixer. They do have one of these. Have you guys ever had these? My mom had one of these growing up, and I'd use this, but it's not really clean. So we're not going to. Pine Land Farms. Okay. It's a dairy farm. And it was super cool. And it was cold, but it was pretty. And we'll post some of those pictures. They had a corn maze, which I think is the first time that Robbie could not cheat in a maze.
It was a lot taller than me.
He laughed when I walked in. Laughed at me. Because I'm not very tall. Robbie is a full foot taller than me. All right. So now I've got that mixed up. So it's pretty simple. That's why cobblers are so good. They don't take as long as pies. I love pie, but it takes a while to get the dough together. And if you don't do it a lot, it's hard to get good at making the crust. And yeah, it just takes more time. This is just a lot easier. I now have, I saw a pot holder. Here it is. Let's see our butter.
Where to put it?
Well, I was going to show and not touch the pan for once, which is good. So we've got the butter. It started to brown a little bit, but that's okay. When those milk solids start to brown a little bit, it actually brings some good flavors to food. We'll talk about my drink in a minute because it's Moxie. So I'm going to set that there. And first, we will add the blueberries into it with all that lemon zest and sugar. I'm going to stir that up just a little bit so the sugar's not all in one place like it is right now.
Oh, that'd be a really good bite, though.
I've got my back to you. That's not good. It's not very intuitive, this kitchen for me. It's a little different than mine. There we go. And now we're going to take our actual crumble part, or cobbler part of it, and pour that on the top.
Yummy.
So we never named our lobster, did we?
No, because we're going to eat it.
Robbie was so crestfallen when the guy's like catching it and putting it in a bag and the lobster's moving around, and Robbie gave me little puppy dog eyes like.
All of his friends are saying he's never coming back.
He's
boys.
never coming back. Okay, so back to this farm. So this farm was really nice because they let you actually walk through the barns with the animals. And so they had, Robbie's over there eating some cheddar cheese that actually came from the farm. And they had 3 different barns for the, that we saw for the horses, for the cows. And they were Holstein cows. So we felt some, I don't know. We were dressed up. Hi there. Hi, Nicholas. Welcome in. We're in Maine. Cooking. Not in my kitchen. It's getting chilly. It is getting chilly. Anyway, so they have 3. One that the heifers go in, because apparently they don't put them in with the milking cows until they calve. And then they had the one with all the babies. All the babies. One of them was only 8 days old.
It might have been 9 or 10 now, but it was very young.
He was very young.
Well, we've almost been gone that long.
And his name was Trust. And he came right up and he wanted to have his ears scratched and his nose scratched. He was so cute. It was a Holstein calf. And what I found very interesting, and this is just, I guess, it makes sense now that I know it, is that they're very careful on how they breed them. Like who their sire is, who their dam is, and they have like their own little family tree. And then they do what your family does, which is everybody's name starts with the same letter.
So you keep track of them.
Yep. So they were like, anything that starts with a T comes from Trina, I think was the name of the cow. That was like a prize-winning milking cow. And everything from Haley, that was the H one, right? That starts with an H is descendant of Haley. Who knew? Some of you may have known that. I did not. Okay, here we go. Oh, I forgot to put some cinnamon in there. Let's sprinkle a little bit on top, since I forgot. And there's enough without me even opening it.
Really?
Yeah, it's coming out the sides there. That is the fullest jar of cinnamon I have ever seen. Holy cow. Usually there's a little space at the top. Yeah, look at, I just messed up my towel too. Look at all that cinnamon. I'm making a mess, Robbie, just for you.
I appreciate that.
I know you do. You're welcome. I should have put this in the actual batter, but I forgot. I mess up, so you don't have to. Because in the end, it'll still taste delicious. Okay, we'll close that. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way and stick this in the oven. It's cool enough to touch now. I did put that one in the one with the butter, right? And so there we go. 45 minutes. In my gas oven. And let's see, how do I set the timer? Timer. I'm going to check it at 35 and start. All right, guess what's next? Something you're going to have to help me with. He's so excited about this part.
Lobster.
Yep. Yep. So, since neither of us have ever done this all by ourselves, and I don't think Robbie's ever done it.
I hadn't even eaten it before you started.
That is not true.
Other than like maybe a small snack. Certainly not a lobster roll.
Right, but you've had lobster mac and cheese.
Were you showing off your soda?
Mm-hmm. So there's this soda here in Maine called Moxie. They only had the diet version in the grocery store. They were completely out of the Moxie. And it's really actually pretty interesting. It's been around for about 145 years. It was originally developed as a kind of a medicinal drink, as a lot of drinks that we still drink now were done. And then there's this guy. He's pointing at you, and his name is Dr. Augustin Thompson. And he created Moxie Nerve Food. And it's a little different. It tastes kind of like maybe root beer, a little cream soda-ish, and then it's like really bitter at the end. So, your friend Holden is from Maine. Hi, at McKenna. Have you ever had Moxie? Did they talk about it? Because I've never seen it outside of Maine. So we decided we were going to have some. And we went to a lobster roll truck, and that's where we had the non-diet version of it. So, what do you think of Moxie?
I liked it. I mean, I like root beer, so that helps. I prefer the non-diet version, but it's still really close. It's very refreshing.
Okay.
It's not over sugary for me, like some sodas can be.
Yeah,
So I don't
it
drink
is
a whole
not.
lot anymore.
Okay, you ready?
No. It's already cooked, guys.
It's
steamed.
cooked. Here's Fred.
Fred, huh?
I don't know. About 3 hours ago, he was roaming around with his friends, and now he's going to be part of dinner. So there you go. I thought it would be easier to have them steam it there. So have any of you guys had lobster rolls? I've only been to Maine a couple of times before this, and I think I only had lobster rolls one of those times. It's typically made from like claws and knuckles, and not from like the tail and the other parts of it. But we're going to use whatever meat we can get off of this. So we're going to use some tail meat and everything. So it's actually, so I think Fallen Age, one of the things that's really important about lobster rolls is that the lobster's really fresh too. Like, you don't want like old lobster. And we were amazed, like, for us to get the lobster rolls and chowder was like $75 or something like that. And this truck, so it's just a food truck, had a line the entire time that we were there at the park. And we were at the park there for,
A couple hours at least.
I think, yeah, probably 2.5, 3 hours. Because we
Wow,
left around
it's still
3.
going.
Yeah, so, because I think we left around 3, but we got there by like 12. And that line was long when we got there, and that line was long when we left. So, pretty crazy. Okay. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to break this open, even though I've watched it on Worst Cooks about 20 times. So there we go. We're not going to eat that part of it. Robbie's like, yay. So glad to hear that.
I didn't know that their tails just popped off like
They do when they are cooked. And I don't, so we're going to rinse that off. He's been in the fridge. I know some people like all of that stuff. I'm going to go with no for me. And then I'm going to try and pull these off. And I know that you can get meat out of all of these little things here as well, but we're probably just going to stick with the easy stuff. There's probably some meat in here too. Yeah, there's some meat in there. We can get that off too. Look, I didn't even need you. Are you happy about that?
That is a big yay.
What do you? I know that Aladdin's girl can't eat lobster. Do you guys like lobster? There are two kinds of lobster rolls out there. There's the Maine version and then the Connecticut version. And the Maine version has mayonnaise in it, and the Connecticut version is usually warm with butter, whereas the Maine lobster roll is cold. We're going to be making a Maine lobster. Maybe depending on how much meat I get off of this, we might try it with some hot butter, but never had it. So I will tell you that I like lobster. I'm not one of those people who's like, ooh, lobster. My dad was like that. My dad, if he could get lobster, he loved it. But I was always like, okay, great, we're having lobster. Which is sad when people were like, we're having lobster tonight. But it has a real mild flavor. And I do love butter, so.
So you're really just into it for the butter.
I mean, that's why I like bread. Yeah, crab. And I so wanted to make like a something with crab stuff, but you know, again, I'm limited in the kitchen and I didn't want to go buy a bunch of groceries. So some of this is, all right, let's say goodbye to Fred.
Bye, Fred.
So we're going to get some of this meat out of the tail. Now, how do I do that? Maybe I'll have you do the tail. I think lobsters are a very weird looking animal. What do you think?
I think they're kind of cool with their two claws.
And then they've got the little things by their face.
You're just jealous that you don't have some of those.
I mean, maybe.
'Cause I'm sure they're useful.
Ow.
Dr. Chucks loves crab, though.
Yes, crab is really, really good. Let's see, what did I have last night? I had...
At which place?
I know, last night for dinner. Oh, if Gideus isn't in here, but we went to the place that Gideus had said to go to. Let's clean some of that out. And we had appetizers there, and if you saw the pictures of fried pickles.
That was at the Nosh Kitchen.
Nosh Kitchen Bar. And they have, they had fried pickles, but they fried them in spears, which I'd never seen before, which made the pickles really hot. Like pickle chips, when you fry them, it's hot, but it's not that hot. And these were like tempura fried, and while they were good, I need like help. There we go. My hands are so delicate, Robbie.
So that was the first stop.
Yep, and then we were trying to get into, there were a couple places on the wharf, one called Four, and then the other was Scales. And we went to Scales, and let's see, you had chowder there. So that was your second chowder of the day. Yes. And I had those croquettes. They were crab croquettes, right? And then we went to an Italian place.
Lazari.
And there, Robbie had pizza. And I had lobster arancini. Right, this is where those little bitty forks, this is where those come in handy. And the reason why I haven't put the tail in there yet is because I got to chop it up, obviously. All right, let's see if I can get it this way. Go. I'm probably, if you have done this before and you are watching this and you are horrified at the way that I am butchering this lobster, I feel you. I'm kind of horrified by the way I'm doing it too.
Fred is also horrified.
Fred is definitely horrified.
The surgery is not going well.
No. So let's see here. Come on. It's hard. It's like he's trying to protect himself with all these little things. So I think the lobster rolls I've always had have really mostly been like claw meat. But yeah.
And this is going to be a mix.
It's going to be whatever meat I can get out of this lobster, because I wasn't going to buy 2 lobsters since we're leaving tomorrow.
And why buy 2 when 1 will do?
When one will work just fine. All right, come on. Come on. So if you were doing this the Connecticut way, you would actually do all of this while the lobster was still hot and chop it while it's still hot and then stick it on the roll. I was reading an article by somebody who had lived in Maine their entire life, and she was writing about hot dog buns. And hot dog buns are also different in Maine. They use these top split rolls. Wait a minute, where'd that go? Somewhere. It's probably right in front of me. There it is. So we'll use that. These shells are not like... Am I doing this wrong? Probably. There we go. Look at that piece of meat. Right there. So I'm going to get that. I'm not afraid to just get right in there. And there's another little piece in there that I want. But how am I going to get it? Does anybody know? Because I'm not real sure. Let's see. See how messy this is? I was like, for the one time that I don't have an apron.
Is this why they give you bibs at the restaurant?
Yep. This is exactly why they give you bibs at the restaurant. Did you guys ever see those little bibs? They have little lobsters on them. I think they're hysterical.
I've only seen them on TV and movies.
In cartoons.
And cartoons. Lots of cartoons.
Ow.
Fred's revenge.
Ah, there we go. He can go in there. So we're going to have enough for 2 lobster rolls. The other thing that's funny in Maine to me, too, is their hot dogs. Their hot dogs are bright red. Hi, Neo-Mechasonic. How are you? We are in Maine, and we're making lobster rolls. And I've already got some blueberry cobbler in the oven. Ow. And I'm hurting myself as I try to open this lobster. And hopefully there are no connoisseurs of this, because they will be laughing their butt off at me. Or they can. It's fine. I'll just be like, whatever. So Robbie, this will not probably live up to quite what a bite of Maine. Was that the one we went to?
I can look that up as well.
Ask Robbie a question he finds. Also, this is the best knife I can find in the kitchen, so.
Bite into Maine.
Bite into Maine. So we're going to do that, and we're going to put these in more bite-sized chunks. I also had the butcher steam this because I knew the butcher would probably not overcook it, and I was a little worried that I might, and I wasn't sure I had a pot big enough to put them in. And so some people put them in their pots and cook them and steam them live, which is a little weird. When my mom would do it, you'd hear the top of the pot as they were trying to get out, which seems a little cruel. But I saw that some people crack them first and then stick them in, so they kill them. I think that's the way Ann does it. No, worst cooks. And then we have this meat. And again, I'm butchering it because I don't have a really good knife. I mean, I do, but it's at home. Here, let's get that out. We don't want to eat that. Just like shrimp. Lobster poops too. I know, I'm like, just turn on. Don't laugh at me.
I'm surprised I haven't done it yet. I probably will when I'm washing dishes.
Try to turn it off because if you haven't seen my kitchen, my faucet turns off and on by doing this.
As long as the power's on.
As long as the power's on. I mean, if you have no power,
You have no water.
you have no water in the kitchen. Exactly. Get that off of there. I'm trying not to put solids in the sink because it doesn't look that there's a dishwasher disposal in here. Do. How many of you have been to Maine? Have you made it all the way from Hawaii to Maine, Fallen Age?
That would be a very long trip.
That would be. We thought we were pretty cool. We're like, we got Texas license plates, and then we saw somebody with California ones. And we were like, oh, you've come further.
Looks like you won. That's a really long drive.
Mm-hmm. So the thing we did yesterday in Maine is never west of Nevada. So you've only been to Washington State and Hawaii?
Oh, never east of Nevada.
Yeah. Did I say west? East, you mean?
Read it, yeah.
Okay. I love to travel. And, you know, we chose this because Robbie had never been this way.
Yeah, this is really the only area of the country I hadn't been in a bunch, is the Northeast.
How many new states did you hit yesterday? I mean, not yesterday, the day before yesterday.
Like Maryland, Delaware, Connecticut, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Maine, so 7?
7 new states in one day. At one point, we drove through, we were in New York, and we got into Connecticut, and it goes, welcome to Connecticut. And then, like a mile later, it goes, welcome to New York.
Wait a minute.
We're like, wait, what just happened here? And Robbie goes, it counts.
Yes, it counted.
It counts.
And we'll get a couple new ones tomorrow with
Vermont.
I guess it's just one more.
But you'll be in upstate New York. So tomorrow we leave, and Robbie says we are not going by New York City again.
No, we're staying very far away.
The traffic was terrible.
$16 to go over one bridge, even if it was named after George Washington.
Was it 16? I guess so. Yeah.
It was up there.
All right, this is my drink. I'm just all over the place. What am I doing? Okay. All right, so it's not a whole lot of lobster, but we're going to make do with what we have. Hopefully we have enough to feed Robbie, but you know what? He has cheese and crackers, and he'll have blueberry cobbler and ice cream.
That's the important part. Ice cream.
Now, a traditional, yeah, I think we're not going to be able to make two different kinds here. I don't got enough stuff. So I'm not going to have to melt any butter. Hello, Rat Zombie. Welcome in. We are making lobster rolls right up here in Maine with lobster that probably came out of the water not long ago, and he was fed 3 hours earlier. So, yeah. What was I saying?
You're gonna make
Oh,
one
right.
type.
So I'm only going to make that. And for that, really, the only required thing is mayonnaise to make the cold salad. It's pretty traditional to have like mayonnaise, and we're going to make a little bowl of it and put it in a bowl and then toss it in there. Mayonnaise and chives. I'm not sure why I didn't buy chives. What I bought instead was parsley and dill, so that's what we're going to make it. And that's really the iconic Maine lobster roll. But nowadays you found all sorts of flavors. So Robbie's first one, he did chipotle, right?
And it had just the slightest hint of it.
Right. It gave it just a little bit of a smoky flavor.
Not overpowering or anything.
Right. So I'm going to put some mayo in here. And then they had like wasabi, which I would like to try sometime. They had one they called Picnic that had coleslaw. And then I think that was it. But this is one of those things, because lobster doesn't have a really strong flavor, it's really mild, you can play with the flavors that you're putting in it. Excuse me as I burp, because I had soda. So I'm only going to take the tiniest amount of dill. I don't want a whole lot, because I don't want it to overpower the flavor. And I also don't want the parsley. The parsley won't overpower it, but I don't want a whole lot in there. And I do want a little lemon.
The Wendy's has arrived.
Woo, you can eat. So we have been really good. The object of ours, and why we call it Dana's Kitchen Unchained when we're on the road, is Robbie and I do our best to not eat at any chain restaurants. And so far in 8 days, right, because it's been 8 days? Yeah, it's been 8 days.
Or is it 9 now?
9 days. In 9 days, the only time we ate at a big chain restaurant was when we were on the New Jersey Turnpike, and we were starving. And if you've never driven on the New Jersey Turnpike, there's just not that many places to get off. So we just said, we were pulling in, doing a pit stop on one of their little plaza things, and all they had was Burger King, and
So we were gonna
Starbucks.
try a local chain,
Nathan's, yeah.
but they were nowhere to be found.
We couldn't find. We're like, where are they? So we've done pretty good. Even wearing our cow costumes to a tiki bar. Okay, this is pitiful. I have a knife roll that is coming. So next time we do one of these road trips, I'm going to pack up my knives and bring them.
So these need to be sharpened a little?
Well, it's a steak knife.
Oh.
There are no. I didn't see any like real like chef's knives or paring knives. I kind of feel a little like your mom. Now she's that paring knife to cut things.
Yeah, that turnpike was... Well, I don't have an actual microphone on. Do people want to hear me?
I don't know. Turn your volume up, Bob.
No, I'll turn one on.
Oh.
Maybe.
All right, this is going to have big chunks of stuff in it because I cannot chop this very finely. I also have a lot of parsley and dill. Anybody around? Can I bring you the leftovers of stuff?
No. Yeah, that turnpike was crazy at the end when it was... Trucks have their own highway and all cars in the middle.
Yeah.
12 lanes of traffic heading towards New York City.
Robbie was like, wait, you can have this many lanes of traffic? Yes.
And,
Yes,
and
you
there were
can.
still traffic jams.
Yeah. It's a lot of people. Salt and pepper. Salt. Pepper. Fun. And then we will stir that. I'm making sure you have lots of spoons. I know you don't really
To
care
wash,
too
you
much.
mean?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me taste that.
As long as you leave me one spoon to eat the dessert with.
Okay. I make no promises. I want a little more dill in that. So we'll put a little bit more. But really, that's about it. Now you could also, if you wanted to, add a little butter to it. And like I said, if you're doing Connecticut style, it's just gonna basically be your lobster and the butter with some salt and pepper, and that's it. So we'll toss that in there. I think that should be enough. And this is very, very lightly dressed because it is easy to overpower. And this may have even been too much. Sorry.
I forgive you. You've never done it before. And I didn't have to do it either. So
He's just grateful he did not have to.
I didn't have to steam the lobster. I didn't have to pull it apart. I didn't have to make the roll.
Oh.
All I gotta do is dishes. I can do that.
Okay, I'm going to show you the rolls now. Here we go. So this is what the lobster rolls and for their hot dogs or anything like that that they use here. And if you can see, it's basically what it is kind of like a small loaf of bread, right? And then they slice it, and then the ones in between, they just slice part of the way through. Now these, I've read two different versions of this, that in the 1940s, a bunch of restaurants and stuff wanted a hot dog bun that stood up. Like, so you can set it down and it stays standing up like that. And so that a bakery named J.J. Nielsen started making them. The other one I heard is that Howard Johnson's, if you're old enough to remember what those are and have heard of them, that was a chain of hotels and restaurants. And they would do fried clam strips in here before lobster rolls became a thing. So they developed that. So those are the two stories that I could find about how this became developed. The other thing they do with theirs, which is one of the reasons I love it, is that they toast these. And they toast both sides of it. And you get this in the inside and you get it crunchy. So if you don't have these kind and don't feel like making your own bread, whatever bread you do use, just make sure it's soft. I read an article that says, do not use hard bread. Like, it was pretty, do not. You must not. You must use soft bread. So, all right. I'm going to heat up. There we go. A burner. And get some butter. Because butter makes everything better. And it's not very soft. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to melt it real quick. So you have another pot to do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The red zombie's like, do not.
Do not use hard bread. I feel like it's this guy right here too saying it. But I think that he's saying, drink Moxie. I kind of feel like in Maine, are they like in your face?
Peer pressure.
So we'll get that melted and then I'll brush it on a couple of these buns. And then I'm going to have a lot of buns left. So I kind of feel like I need to go buy those And when I say red, that these hot dogs are red, they're like fire extinguisher red, right? You were like, what are these?
They were very red. Unnaturally so.
Robbie's like, what are these? Ooh, I'm splashing butter everywhere. Butter, things with oil, things with sugar. Never a good idea to splash those everywhere. Ooh. It's looking good. Have you guys ever used a gas oven before? This one's much nicer than the one I had years and years ago. And I would hope so, because they've had 28 more years to develop it. But I always found it hard to keep the heat even in it, because it's, flames. I don't know why that makes a difference. But never used a gas stove either. I love gas stoves. Okay, now how am I going to do this? Because I don't have my tools. You're like, I don't have to figure it out.
No. The Narchuk saying you got Moxie Kid. Yeah, I've got electric only at my place too.
And the thing is if I mess these up, I've got plenty more.
Are we just gonna have buttered bread too as part of this?
You want buttered bread?
I don't. If you mess it up, we will.
Well, it'll be burned if I mess it up.
Oh.
So you probably don't want burned butter bread, do you? And where did we stop on our way when we were driving up here? Where did we stop? Let's see. You've got a weird question. Is there a brand of pot set you prefer? No, actually, I'm now in the. What I'm doing is I'm buying the kind, like one-on-one. I'm buying I really want this set of. I want this for my stock pot, or I want this. So there's a lot of really good ones, but and to start with that, so I'm trying to remember. I think I just got the Sur La Table brand last time I bought them, and now I'm kind of slowly changing them. So my cast iron is a bunch of different stuff. I've got Lodge, though, is probably, they're awesome.
You bought more on the road trip?
I brought more on the road trip because we passed by, what's it called? It's something Forge. What's the name of that town?
It was in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, it was in Tennessee.
Had a nearby store to sell all the...
Oh, see, look at that. That's a little more done than it usually is for lobster rolls. Are you going to be okay with it done that much? You want me to do them again?
Should be fine.
Okay. So we'll turn that off. And I will make Robbie a lobster roll here. And I love the smell. See, it's supposed to be more like that. But that's hot. Okay. There's a loose tile there. Oh, maybe I need it on just a second more.
Aladdin's girl said Pigeon Forge.
Pigeon Forge. Thank you. Thank you very much. I didn't mean to point at you.
Like
But
the
apparently
Moxie
it's
guy?
the thing in Maine. Like the Moxie guy. And I can just imagine that woman in the article. You must not. Yeah, so I think that's just that's a great brand for that. My cast iron, most of my cast iron that's enamel coated is Staub, because it's cheaper than whatchamacallit. and it's just as good. All right. Look at that hot bread there. This is going to be less than you had on your, sandwich from Maine Bites or whatever that was called again. Because I'm not measuring this. It's a little more mayonnaise, a little less meat. So probably, I would say if you are making this yourself sometime, you probably do need about a lobster a person. Ish. That's the timer. Let's see. I'm better at that one than I am at my own.
After 3 years.
All right, I can give that about 10 more minutes. So that one will be mine because I just broke the thing. There you go, Robbie. I just, and he goes like, okay, there you go. Mine doesn't have very much on it, but that's fine. So your bread should be toasted to about that. Not like that. All right, let's see how I did. Not as good as the food truck, but it's my first time. I'll take it. Yeah. You buy Tennessee made pots in general. So what I would do if you're starting off is, like Kelsey, we just went and bought her all new pots and pans. And since she had nothing, we went, Macy's sometimes has great sales. So buy yourself a decent set. Don't buy cheap. Pick it up. It needs to be heavy. And I'm not even talking the cast iron. I'm talking about your regular metal pans. They shouldn't feel flimsy and light. So I can't remember which brand we ended up buying her, but it was a good brand. And they were 50% off. And then I opened a Macy's card to get an additional 20% off. So it was great. Great sale. So, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It is pretty good for my first try. Now, the other thing you can do with this too, because a lot of places will chop up celery to put in here to give a little bit of a crunch and texture to the lobster, but you want to cut that up really fine. You don't want like giant chunks of celery in your lobster salad stuff you're putting on top. So
good.
So the Kirkland brand, I would even look that up because I bet one of the big companies actually makes the Kirkland brand for Costco, because often Costco goes to the bigger companies. So for example, they have real Jelly Bellies, the Kirkland brand. What am I doing? Hey, David. How are you? My brother's in here, Brutal Ruler. So we are here in Maine, and we are making lobster rolls. Well, we're eating them now because we did make them. Fred the lobster was very nice to give his life up for this dinner.
Talking and eating's tough, huh?
So Fred didn't have much of a life. He was in a little bitty tank with a bunch of other lobsters. So, anyway. Yes, we're here. Yes, we're eating lobster rolls. Robbie, you want to show what's left of yours so your mom can see what you're eating?
I'll put it back in here.
Okay. See? There we go. We're eating, and hey, Mad Marky, welcome in, and Rachel. What is the crazy? So did you see that, David? What's the craziest thing I've done?
Oh, the list.
We do have an ongoing joke that's been going on since I was probably about 8. And it would be, and we'd say, and you'd still be doing it. And I don't know if David remembers why we did that. Because I do. So what's going on in Maine? Robbie and I are, how do my brother and you not know this? I got red on my teeth. Hang on. Robbie and I are on a 2-week road trip. We're not eating at chain restaurants, and we've already been to Nashville. We've been to the Outer Banks. We're here in Maine, and tomorrow we leave for Niagara Falls. And then after Niagara Falls, we're going to Louisville, and we're going to try. So when we're in Niagara Falls, which is right next to Buffalo, if you're not familiar with the geography of upstate New York, we're going to try and go to one of the places that claims they're the original place of buffalo wings. And then somebody else recommended a place that I can't remember off the top of my head and said we needed to get a beef weck. So if we can, we're going to do at least one of those two things. And then we're going to go to Louisville, and we're going to do hot brown. If you guys have never heard of that, it's a type of open-faced sandwichy thing that they have in Louisville. And then we'll be in Memphis, where I'm going to guess we're getting barbecue.
And going to
Graceland. Oh, and guess what? You know what happened after we left? All of my gear so that we could stream showed up. So we thought it would have been really fun to have you when we were doing the corn maze today, so you could help us decide which direction to go. Because we did take a few wrong turns.
And it's been raining, and it was muddy, and it actually took a while. It took longer than I thought it was going to. It was pretty big.
Okay, so Aladdin's Girl, that did not happen. That what my brother just put there, because my brother thinks he's funny, and he's not.
Family-friendly stream.
It's a family-friendly stream, David.
We might even stop at the chicken place again in Nashville if we have time on the way through, because it was that good that I want it again.
Yes, Robbie has decided we're going to go back to Prince's in Nashville. So I know how when we leave Buffalo, Louisville. Mm-hmm. He's going to make it so that we show up right around when Prince's opens, so that we can go get some more Nashville hot chicken. You want to grab some to bring back with us too?
We might have to.
Okay.
Maybe the extra hot.
Ooh, Robbie's going to get the extra hot. The hot was... Robbie doesn't sweat often, and he was sweating. Like, he's sitting there, and all of a sudden, I'm like, little beads of sweat. Then sweat starts. So the more he ate, the hotter it got. Yeah. So, yeah. Throwing pickles at me. So, I would say David probably didn't really get to see the crazy side of me. Just my friends. And I really wasn't that crazy. I did take one of those blinkies off of a construction site once. The little blinky lights.
I remember those. They don't really have those anymore. Because you stole them all.
I took one.
Okay, just one.
But that probably wasn't a good thing, because that was, stealing.
You wouldn't do it now.
I wouldn't do it now. No. So, Jackson at Casey Jones Village. Good Southern buffet there. All right, we'll see. Oops. Look, my, hey, Siri, stop.
Is that the one you want?
Hey, Siri, stop.
I didn't find anything else.
Oh, man. Technology.
Siri is trying to tell me about the restaurant you just told me about.
Not quite as helpful as when Google said thank you a couple streams ago.
That was
when you were at the
hilarious.
house. It's like, oh yeah, Google's awesome.
Train cars to tour there too. We'll have to see how it fits in with the day because I know that he's been talking about going back to Prince's basically since we left.
Well, and we won't get to Memphis until that night. So it'd be more of like if we can do it after Graceland type of thing, or it'll just depend.
Mm-hmm.
So those last couple days of the road trip are going to be a
Little
more
fast.
hectic,
Because we're only staying in Memphis for one night. So
and then getting on home.
waking up in the morning, going to Graceland, and then driving home.
And then streaming.
And then streaming the next day. So who knows what I'll be making. I did get I know this is going to be shocking to all of you, but I bought a cookbook here in Maine. And it's based on recipes from Marjorie Standish, who is like a well-known icon of New England food. Oh, that looks like that's done. Okay. Shh. Shh. Okay. The only problem... Oh, no, there are two. Never mind. I was going to say I only had one thing, but it makes it very hard to take things out of the oven. What do you think? Let me test it. Because now that I'm pulling it out... no, I think it's done. Okay. So we'll leave that there. I need to finish my lobster roll. Have you finished yours? No.
I was leaving it for people to see, but I'm going to eat it now.
Okay. Why don't you do that?
You worked so hard on it.
Time consuming. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more work than just walking up to the food truck and being like, yes, please, we'll have two.
So David is asking, are we just checking out new places or did something draw us to Maine? And I would say, David, I've actually been to Maine. I've been to the Outer Banks. I've been to Niagara Falls. I've been to Louisville. I've been to Memphis. I had never been to Nashville. That was my one new place on this trip. Or if I was at Nashville, it was way back in the day when I used to hang out with Barbara back when we lived in Houston, and I took a trip with her family to the Knoxville World's Fair, and we may have stopped in Nashville, but I don't recall doing that. Robbie hadn't been up Northeast, so you missed it, but Robbie, 2 days ago, as we were driving 7 new states, did you say?
I think that's right.
7 new states he went through. So,
Which almost made the 17-hour drive worth it with all the traffic.
that was crazy. We left at 6 in the morning thinking it was going to be about somewhere between 13 to 15 hours, and ended up being 17.
And some of that was stops. Like, we did stop a few times, more than just, 5 minutes here and there. Because once we knew we were going to be late, we had a real dinner.
We
was a full
decided,
hour.
well, because the traffic was so bad too. So we
Right,
actually
might as well eat.
we ate dinner at a pub in Sandy Hook. That was fun. It was happening. It was really
It was
happening.
very loud there.
Yeah. We do have vanilla ice cream. Thank you, Boyd's. It actually is pretty good for my first attempt at doing this and breaking up a lobster. So, but Narv Chunks, when you had a Nashville chicken sandwich at a local place, are you anywhere, like, are you in Tennessee or what state are you in? And was it spicy? Did you sweat? When I went to Prince's, I got the medium. I knew Robbie was going to do much hotter than me because I know that my stomach will hate me later.
And while it was spicy, it was so tasty, though,
Right.
with the flavors. Like, it was just the perfect combination.
Right. It wasn't heat for just heat's sake. It, like, had depth to the flavor. It was a complex flavor, so... And you know the story behind that. So Prince is really considered the, like, a lot of people go to, was it Hattie B's? Is that the other one? But Prince is actually the first one. And the story goes that Prince was out carousing with other women, and his woman was really mad at him. So she made up a batch chicken and just started putting all sorts of spices because she knew he loved fried chicken. And she made it so hot. And he came home and he was eating and he's like, this is delicious. And then he opened up his first chicken shack and served it. So it didn't really work out for her. So, let's see. Oh, you would have met me in Nashville? Okay. It's too late. We're not there now.
We'll be back there in a few days.
So I know that
Very
Robbie
briefly.
and I have all been to all of those Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. You said you weren't sure you'd been to Georgia, though.
I've at least driven through it on a couple of long
Okay.
road trips, but can't say I've like been to something there.
Yeah. Our original trip had us going that way and then like maybe stopping off in Charleston and then heading up the coast. But timing wasn't working because it's a lot longer than it looks. So
Yeah.
we had to shorten it. We had to cut off that part of the trip in order to make it so that we could sit here and do this. Otherwise, we'd just be in the car practically every single day. So, nobody does Nashville chicken like Nashville. That is the truth because I ordered some Nashville chicken sliders in the Dallas area. And I asked the guy, I was like, are they spicy? And he goes, they're a little spicy. And I ate it and I'm like, these aren't spicy. Like Nashville chicken, you should start to feel a burning sensation on your lips while you're eating them, right?
Right, not painful,
Yeah.
but enough that you can feel it.
Well, for some people, it's painful.
Well, yeah, that's
Some people
true.
do it for the
I
pain.
forget how much I like spicy food.
So
And even I only went to hot.
you only went to hot, and it goes to 3x. 3x.
Like if I go back, I might try the extra hot, but I'm not touching the top two.
We thought about maybe just getting the triple X just to.
Like maybe we'll take it to go, and I'll eat it on stream or something. But
When am I taking him to Arkansas? We actually went to Arkansas a few years ago, 3 years ago.
yeah, Hot Springs.
We went to Hot Springs, and that was one of the places you were like, well, maybe we'll stop there on our way back because there's a
That's
little
right. We're gonna stop there too.
there is a brewery there. It's a little small craft beer place right on Bathhouse Row, and they make their beer from the spring water. And they have one called the Bee's Knees, and it has basil in it, so Robbie calls it pizza beer. And it's rare that Robbie's like, we have to go back there. We have to go back there. And that was one of the places we visited multiple times while we were in Hot Springs because Robbie's like, I love the pizza beer.
And I'm not normally a big beer guy either.
Not that either. That's why it was really surprising. So you knew he liked it. Rat Zombie likes spicy food. Oh, yeah. Get yourself to Nashville and get yourself some Nashville chicken. But I know that's one of the things that I'm going to try and make in October on one of the streams is try to do a Nashville chicken and do it fried so that I can knock off two things because you guys have asked me to do some fried chicken. And so I'm going to play around with the recipes a little bit and see if I can't come up with a good heat that is somewhere between what I like and what Robbie likes, because if I go where Robbie likes, I won't
Yeah,
be
you
able
won't
to
really
eat
eat
very much.
So that's one of our first cooking classes, right? Was the Nashville hot chicken?
Except that they did
it
it
was spicy.
differently.
It was
was really
spicy.
spicy, but it wasn't fried chicken. If you remember,
No,
it was a
it wasn't.
whole
Yeah.
it was a whole roaster, and we put that in the oven. Let's see here, and the burning stays on the skin. Like you're talking about, like on your skin, like on the lips and stuff. Like I can't do it spicy because my stomach just can't do that spicy of food. Like we had this one restaurant that we love to go to that had it's a chain in Texas, and it was so spicy, and we were going there like 2 or 3 times a week, and I was finally like, I can't do tequila and this really, really spicy food. My stomach was like, no, you're not. Oh, and do the moonshine tour. Yeah. Because we have 5 bottles of moonshine in the car.
One of which
And
can't
one
even
whiskey,
go on a plane.
a salted caramel whiskey. Right. If you missed that, we have 135, and that's because it's 135. Is it 135 or 138? 135 proof.
It's a high number.
And you can't take it on a plane because it's too flammable. But we're gonna drink it.
It sounds
'Cause
like
that's
a really good idea.
It's like a great idea. Okay. Yeah, it stays right above the lips. That's for me. That's the spice. I like to feel it. It's got to tingle the lips and stay there. But you got to have flavor in the mouth. I used to get really mad because we did this chili contest in my neighborhood, not the one I'm in now, but the one I was in before. And we actually had the firemen would come out and taste the chili, and we had a thing we called it the hernia bowl. So we did this on Super Bowl Sunday or the day before. I can't remember. It was the day before the Super Bowl, and the guys would get together and play football. And we would bring big tubs of bandages and ice packs. And then we also had a chili contest that day. And the person who always won was the person with the spiciest chili, not the best chili, in my opinion. It's like they were looking for the spiciest chili. So
Love the burn makes you feel alive.
it does make you feel alive. And boy, I got to tell you, Robbie and I got there before Prince's opened. And as soon as they opened the doors, we were like third, I think, to put our order in. But by the time we were done, so many people waiting.
And that was a weekday.
And that was a weekday, yeah.
Hi, Mad
Exactly.
Marky.
So glad you guys are all here. Okay, so are you ready for dessert?
Yes.
This is a smaller
Always.
sink than the one at home, so it looks fuller. But there's nothing crazy in here, nothing that's burned or sticky. And I was smart because I put this in. I can't pick that up.
Tin.
I put it in a tin so that we can take it with us. So there you go. That's what it looks like before I cut into it. Blueberry, but they are not wild blueberries because we did not have time to go do that. The other things that I was reading up on, the things Maine is known for, and I knew blueberries and lobster rolls and all of that. Did you know that one time they produced the most I think the most potatoes in the United States? They don't anymore, but they used to. I did not know that.
Maybe that was back before Idaho was a state.
It could have been. Could have been. So they were always looking for cheap ways to add to their seafood and everything. And they were known for salt cod long before they were known for lobster. So Maine has this history of people over harvesting and over foraging things, and they have to change.
Bye, Narf
So,
Chunks.
bye, Narf Chunks. See you next time. And do you want to put, if anybody wants to follow what we're doing day to day, I'm a little behind because Robbie's got pictures on his phone that he either needs to put on Discord or needs to send me or both. So you guys can kind of, if you want to, keep track of what we're doing on our trip. So, cranberries, I believe, is more New Hampshire. And I would love to do that sometime, is go when they're harvesting the cranberries. Because have you ever seen that? In the commercials, they're always standing in the water and there are cranberries all around them. And it's because the easiest way to do cranberries is to flood the fields. And then the cranberries all pop up and then they can just rake them in, rake the cranberries in. So, but they're known for fiddlehead ferns. They get foraged, but they said that they're really worried because people who don't know how to forage properly are starting to forage the fiddlehead ferns, because they're taking all of the fiddleheads, and then it kills the plant. So we don't have new plants. You got to leave some. If you're foraging, you don't take everything. You have to leave some behind for everybody else. So, yep, they do float. So cranberries, okay. This only has butter on it. We're going to use that too.
It's safe.
It's tough. I have like multiples of everything in my kitchen. Robbie can tell you. Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think it maybe could have cooked a little bit longer, but I think it'll be fine. Like the top is done. Like I said, I'm not used to working with a gas stove. See? Vanilla ice cream. Maybe we'll have some Ben and Jerry's when we go through Vermont. Is that Vermont? Ben and Jerry's, or are they New Hampshire? You're full.
I don't know.
I don't have an ice cream scoop. This ice cream's very hard. This is yours. What are you looking at?
Hello.
Hi.
We're just trying to get our dog back. We're going to go on the dock. 'Cause she likes to
Okay.
go on the dock.
All right.
No problem. That's the owners, I'm guessing.
I saw the puppy walk by. I was like, hi, friend.
Oh, that's what you were looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the people whose place this is, like, it's very, very close. So,
Mad Marky, not yet, but it sure felt like it.
it's a good question. We were driving, we're like, past these kind of, all these big trees and these kind of rundown places, and it's like, okay, Stephen King is starting to make a little sense now as you drive by. All right, taste that and then tell me if I need to put it back in the oven for a little bit. I mean, I know you're going to eat that even if it needs to go back, but let me know.
I mean, maybe a little bit.
Okay. Then let me... I'm wondering if they're looking at like all of this equipment, like here's a couple of cameras and computers and all of this, and we've rearranged the furniture in here a little bit to do this. Because there was nothing to put the camera on and everything, so. All right, I'm gonna let that heat back up. I'm gonna stick that back in for probably another 5-10 minutes to get that. I love baked potatoes. So up here, the potatoes that they harvest up here are white potatoes called Kennebunk potatoes that I haven't seen outside of Maine in the grocery store. And I was going to buy some today and maybe fry those up to have with our lobster rolls. But I couldn't find anything except 10-pound bags of potatoes. And I was like, we don't really need 10 pounds. I need like 3 potatoes. So there's that. So fiddlehead ferns, baked potatoes, moxie, blueberry, everything, lobster, salt cod is another big thing. Clams and oysters are big up here. I mean, like any kind of seafood. And if you come up here, let's see, a couple places that we liked. This farm that we went to today was really cool. If you like dairy farms, Pine Land. And I will show you. This is our cheese made there. And look, it's cute. It looks like a little Holstein cow, which I think is cute. And then, oh, is this for me to taste? And right now they're making lots of cider up here. That is good. I think it only needs probably about 5 minutes in there. I think it's okay. And then, oh yeah, the whoopsie pies, like 2 chocolate, you know, the cake and cake with frosting in the middle. Those are from Maine too. And again, I would have made more stuff because you know me, I make way too much stuff and then I drive myself crazy and then I have to dance in the kitchen because I'm running from one place to the other. Don't forget to dance in the kitchen.
It's very important.
Yeah. Always twirling. Twirling is part of the process to get from one end of the kitchen to the other. This one's just a little small. Ugh. Perfect for a cabin, but not perfect for my day-to-day cooking. Yes, I've seen that they have salt cod up there as well. they were really known here, but they overfished the waters, and so they put restrictions on it to allow it to come back.
I
There,
didn't get that. Could you try again?
no.
Okay.
Apparently, Siri really, really wants to talk to.
Don't say its name.
I won't say its name. Really wants to talk to me. But yeah. So, but they said that the waters are getting warm here, so it's they're not coming back as much as they'd like them to. It doesn't sound good to me. Like, but the lutefisk, yeah. Lutefisk. I don't know.
Sounds questionable. I'd have to Google.
Remember that Alton had that on his road trip, feasting on asphalt. That was one of the things they did. Was they got that. So yeah. So we didn't get very far into Maine because we're just outside of Portland. But next time, hopefully, we can go. They've got this great place here that I want to try sometime called the Lost Kitchen. I think we may have talked about that in the stream a couple of times, maybe a couple of weeks ago or a week and a half ago. I don't know. It's all running together for me. But you have to actually send in a postcard saying why you want to eat there, and then she may give you a reservation, but you've got to take the one you got. So, yeah, I don't know why they make some things that smell so bad. Some Swedish food. I can't remember what that's called, but it's like, do you remember?
Stromain or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of been an internet thing lately.
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
We won't.
The videos of people reacting to it was enough to kind of mess with me, so.
It's, yeah. I'm going to stick this back in for just a little bit. This is making the kitchen nice and warm. Timer 5. Start. Yeah. So, what else? Where are your go-to places? Where do you want to go in the United States or even the world that you haven't been yet? Especially if it's for the food. So,
Queen Goddess, thanks for following.
hey, thanks, Queen Goddess. It didn't show up on mine because I don't have the thing of my
She doesn't
bobber.
have
I don't have
her-
my monitor. I don't have
whole
my.
extra monitor, guys.
I don't have my monitor in front of me.
She's roughing it.
I am. I've just got this. So, Virgin Islands. Yeah, I haven't been there either. I think Robbie would go there with me. So, ooh, Japan. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
Kelsey
that's a
really
big
wants to go
one.
to Japan too. Who's?
Ted Bundy's now following.
Oh, hey, Ted Bundy. It's an interesting choice for a name. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, oh my.
As I look right behind me. No, we're okay.
Yeah, So, yeah, Japan. I know Kelsey really wants to get to Japan sometime. I haven't been there either. I think that would be really cool. You're a lot closer being in Hawaii. Yes, rolling eyes. I get to see that. You guys don't get to see that today because he does that to me over there all the time on that
I
side
think
of
I've
it.
been really good today.
You have been good today.
We had fun laughing with cows.
And not just with, oh, okay, I'm going to be posting a picture on Discord. The cow was trying to lick my phone. So this picture of the cow. Okay. And then, what else? We saw potbelly pigs. Lots of chickens.
A very noisy pig.
He was, yeah.
He had stuff to say.
Sorry,
she.
Willow. Her name was Willow. And chickens and turkeys and bunnies and sheep and goats and lots of calves. The calves were so cute. Horses. lots of corn. Saw a squirrel steal a corn cob and just was like, mine, and took
He's
off.
the happiest squirrel in the world. He's
Not a
topping away.
care. Not a care in the world. All right. 5 more minutes. I keep saying that. You're not going to believe me anymore. When Boston is cool. Have you not been to Boston, David?
I
I've
have
been
not
there.
either.
I'm sorry if there are any Patriots fans here, but I even have been there to go to a Patriots game. They were mean. The fans were mean to us. So, but Boston is cool. And Dave, if you like Boston, you'd probably like Philadelphia too, because that's got lots of history as well. I have my drink. I have Diet Moxie and vodka. It's very high end, this cocktail.
Yeah, Japan would be fun. I think we might head over to Italy at some point.
Mm-hmm. I know David wants to go to Italy. He's been planning that in his head for at least a couple of decades.
There'd be so much to see there and food to eat. And
The only thing about Boston is Philippines. I know a lot of people in Boston that were really nice. That was one of the schools Kelsey actually looked at. Was it Boston University or University of Boston?
couldn't tell you.
They have a good art program there, and she went there one summer to do when she was in going 8th to 9th grade, I think, and did an art school there that was pretty cool. So, Rome, yes. See, I already said you wanted to go to Italy. If people know you, they know that. That's one thing they know about you. Yes.
I was just going to say, people have been very nice on the trip.
Oh yeah,
Very
we've had
nice.
great.
Even
where
when
we
we've
were-
been hassling them by doing a stream at restaurants.
Right, like the place at the Tiki Bar, they were so nice. And even last night when we went to Scales, they didn't have, we tried to call and make a reservation and they said they had none left. But they said, but we do leave some tables open for walk-ins. Well, we walked in and they're like, yes, we have time for you at 9:45 p.m. And we're like,
It was 5 or
it was
5:30.
5, like we're hungry. And they were so nice. They were like, oh, come over to the lounge. And the woman who was, she's like, these people are leaving. You want to take their spot? So it was great. Any place else? I've been to Italy. I would like to get to Greece.
Australia would be fun.
Australia would be fun.
See
I
some
agree.
kangaroos in the wild.
There's so many places to go. I want to go see them all.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Well, I mean, if you're not
while
Australia, you
you're
might
down
as
there.
well.
So we'll just need a whole month.
My cousin Nikki did that. She took a month off and she went to, actually, I think she was in New Zealand the whole time. And I don't know how people do this, but she went and she really didn't make reservations anywhere. She just kind of threw a backpack on and stayed in some cool places, like on a sheep farm and on a boat, telling stories. Very,
You
very
have
cool.
to sleep with the sheep? Like, how does that work?
No, they had a little. They had another little, like a house, probably that had originally been for a sheep herder that was a helper on the farm or on the ranch or whatever they call them.
I would have stayed at that farm today. It was nice.
It was very nice. We'll put pictures up on the Discord. Yeah, but Nikki came back, so that's good. She didn't leave and stay in New Zealand. And is there any place in the States that both of us haven't been? There's a handful of states, Alaska.
Alaska. North Dakota.
Yeah, I haven't
Is
been.
still
I
on
haven't
the
been
list.
to either Dakota. I haven't been to Wyoming or Montana. Have you been to
I think all the
Montana?
rest, at least one or the other of us has been to.
So you've been to Montana?
Yes.
I haven't been to Iowa or Idaho,
Nebraska.
Nebraska. You've been to Nebraska?
Oh, yes. A few times. Few times.
His family's from there. Ireland would be very cool. That would be a cool place to go. I'm wasting time so that I can come and get my,
I don't think I've been to
Yeah.
Minnesota, but you have been.
I've been to Minnesota.
Michigan. You lived there.
Minnesota. I did live in Michigan. I would like to go.
Wisconsin?
Yeah, I lived in
Yeah.
Chicago. Or north of Chicago, actually. Which I know is not in Wisconsin, but it's very close.
So other than Alaska and North Dakota, one of us has been to every state.
Okay. So we're trying to make sure everybody gets to one. I knew somebody who wanted to do all 50 states by the time they were 50, and they made it. I did not.
I'm a lot closer now.
Yeah.
I'm probably over 40.
You're over 40 states,
I think so.
and both of us have been to Hawaii. I want to go to Puerto Rico too. At some point.
I've
like-
been there.
I like beaches.
They do have some of those there.
All right. Lots of blueberries. There's mine. I'm assuming you're going to get more.
Yes. I had to shut off the camera so I could eat it.
Okay. Did anybody tell me their favorite kind of cobbler? You guys don't have a favorite kind of cobbler? Do you have a favorite
I
kind?
said it was the one with the ice cream.
Well, that's true. You did say that. But do you have a favorite flavor of cobbler?
This blueberry one's pretty good.
Blueberries are very good for you. Lots of vitamin B.
So I'm going with current favorite is blueberry cobbler.
He does that to me all the time.
You make really good food all the time.
So if you're up here too, the other place you should go is what was the name of the park that the Portland lighthouse was on? Do you remember the name of it was Fort something? The park that was really nice. There's a lot more to do there
Fort
than we
Williams Park.
thought. Fort Williams Park. There's an old mansion there, the Goddard Mansion, that's all fallen apart. That's got cool ruins, and there's lots of. We were learning a lot of stuff about the mines that were put down in during the different wars. Even from 1812, they were putting mines.
Spanish-American War.
Spanish-American War, putting mines down in the Sound, so that and just the intricacies of people watching them and the big bunkers, and that was really cool. And then we went over down, the other one was south, right? Like the Cape Elizabeth one. So peach cobbler, I love peach cobbler. Put a little Riesling in it when you're making it. It made a difference. It's really
Was
good.
that a tip you got at that one restaurant we went to not too long ago? Mm-hmm. So you're like, there's something
There's something in there.
You track down the chef to get him to tell you their secret.
He was like, "Oh, you noticed that?" He goes, "Riesling."
And it was really good.
Um,
Because then you made it a couple weeks later.
yeah, we made it right here. Right here, not right here, but right here in Dana's kitchen. What?
I just thought it was funny how you did that.
Oh, so yeah, not here, because it was in my kitchen.
Only like 1,500 miles away or something.
We're putting a lot of miles on my brand new car.
Yeah, so it's over 4,000. That's what it's gonna be.
Well, yeah, I
the
think
trip,
with all
it's
the
like
other stuff,
4,200.
it's going to be more closer to 5,000 with the.
All the driving around during the day.
Yep. So the other thing that was really cool is there was a park called the Two Lighthouse Park. I think Two Lights Park or whatever.
Something.
The lighthouses aren't in the park; they're outside of the park. The park itself was fine, but the other two lighthouses, which used to be working lighthouses, are now owned by people, and there's like signs like private residence don't come down here. We have cameras.
Yeah, 2 lights.
Yeah, 2 lights. And I thought that would be so cool to live in a lighthouse. We're the house that's next to the lighthouse, and you can say, I own a lighthouse.
You wanted to be known as the woman who lives in a lighthouse.
Exactly. That would be very, very cool. But Fort Williams for sure. If you're ever here and you have time, go to the Fort Williams Park. Lots to do there. Lots of trails. Really pretty. And a lighthouse that is currently still in use.
And noisy.
Very noisy. Every 15 seconds, the foghorn
A
goes
sign
off.
warning you, don't stand in front of this.
It's going to be loud.
It's an intense sound. Danger.
And I was thinking about the people who live nearby. I'm like, do you get used to that? Like the foghorn going every 15 seconds?
Probably. Just like the sound from the buoys. And
That's such a nice sound, though. I like the sound of buoys.
I can see the lady from the article now saying, do not stand in front of the horn.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I'd last a day before I had to move on. Why's that?
Because you like to travel too much? You just go from lighthouse to lighthouse. That'll be your reason for traveling. You just, all right, on to the next lighthouse.
We've seen a lot of lighthouses on this trip. We didn't make it down to Cape Hatteras, though.
Is that where there's like 20 of them? Or is that just Acadia Park?
Oh, up in near Bar Harbor, there's a bunch of them. Cape Hatteras was back down in the Outer
It
Banks.
showed the map of all of them, and then there's just a whole bunch.
Yeah, if you look up in where Bar Harbor is, it was just like tons of lighthouses everywhere. So, all right. I think Robbie's going to go look for a place because we're going to sit and eat some more cobbler. And I'm going to get off my feet. And then I've got to go pack because Robbie always keeps all his stuff so neat. And I'm like, wah, everywhere. Which I didn't used to be. And then I used to be that before. And then I wasn't. And now I'm that way again. I'm regressing. I had, while Robbie's looking, I had growing up my chair in my bedroom, and my brother can attest to this, and I would just throw my clothes on the chair until the chair fell over, and then I put them all in the dirty laundry. So, we are going to be driving tomorrow, and then I think the next time you'll hear from us will probably be, we'll be in Discord and on the social medias. If you look on the page, you can sign up. I'm trying to post stuff. It's not going really well posting stuff on Dana's Kitchen on Facebook as much, but on Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, and the Discord. So if you join those, you can figure out you can see what we're doing day to day. We'll be in Louisville on Thursday, and that's probably where we'll be broadcasting from. We're going to try and find someplace cool to do that from on that night because we're staying in a hotel, so we won't be cooking. Or maybe we'll just bring food back to the hotel and stream from there. Who knows? Who knows? It'll depend on how tired we are. Maybe that's the day we go get bourbon. Just come back to the room. All right, where are we going?
So we're going to go raid a brand new person.
We are.
Goosey Stays Gold. They are cooking with their parents. Cubano and Spanish tortillas tonight.
Ooh. They're making Cubanos?
It looks like it.
Robbie had a Cubano today. He loves it. Good night, Elser. Thank you so much for coming. And we are rating Goosey Stays Gold. And...
About 5
all right.
seconds.
Okay. Mark's pulled pork. I'll keep that in mind. All right.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for
Thank
watching.
you so much.
See you next
Thank
time.
you. Bye.